Hello and welcome to episode 30 of Andersmillknits. I'm your host Emily and my co-host is right here. His name is Watson. And you can find me on Instagram as aka Millie907 and on Ravelry as aka Millie. And you can also find me on Ravelry, or us on Ravelry for the group is AndersMillknits. That's our Ravelry group. And right now we're chatting away, talking about our Advent calendar swap, our 24 days of cheer swap. And everybody's on day 3, so we're opening up day 3 of our swaps and seeing what little goodies have in store for us on that. So everybody's pretty excited about that, and I'm so stoked. I love getting on Instagram and seeing what everybody is posting on there as what they received and everything. We had a few glitches earlier in the week, but luckily they've all worked out. There's one person still waiting on theirs, and I feel horrible about that. I don't know what to say about it. But I am grateful, so grateful for our angel swappers who were on standby and ready to go. Like I messaged one of our angel swappers and she had a package ready to go in less than 24 hours. And luckily we didn't need to actually send that swap because the original package actually showed up. But the whole point of the angel swappers was that they were going to be ready to go and able to send to people whose there were some kind of glitches, whether it be via the post office or, via their partner. And luckily everything worked out. So I'm so pleased with that. Let's see. So last week in the Americas, or the United States, we celebrated Thanksgiving, and we had a melancholy and yet lovely day. The day before Thanksgiving, actually the evening before, we got news that Chris's grandmother, who's been suffering from Alzheimer's for quite a few years now, almost 7 or more years, passed away. And it was kind of expected. She had gone on hospice because she was unable to swallow anymore, and so they had her on hospice care for not even a week, just a few days, and she passed away at that time. And that's really what hospice is for, is to make people as comfortable as possible during their last few days, weeks, whatever it may be. And that specialized care. But that was quite a blow for us, especially my husband. I've actually never met his grandmother because my husband has had a hard time visiting with her due to her dementia, and she was his cheerleader. Like every teenager is rebellious and things like that. Well, my husband was rebellious as well, and his grandmother was the only one that was in his corner during that time, and the only one that kept on telling him how much she believed in him and loved him, and so it was so she meant everything to him. And I deal with clients that have Alzheimer's and dementia every day in my line of work, and so I don't become immune to it, but I am used to seeing the effects and the behaviors and what that does to a family. And one of the things that I do notice quite a lot is that when it becomes too painful for the family to interact with that person, they do step away. And in a way, it's kind of lucky that the individual has Alzheimer's, because then they don't really understand or even are aware of the fact that their loved ones have stepped away from them, because they lost that cognitive awareness and those memories and things. So I'm going on, but in another way, I feel it's really sad to see these people in care homes, in memory care units, and the only people around them are the care staff, and then people like me, So it was just really hard. It was very difficult. And about a week before that, somebody from my youth, a lady from my youth, who was rather more like a mentor to me when I was a teenager. She was the first person I ever knew who was a counselor, and she's always a cheerleader for me. And she was quite young, but she passed away while on vacation in California, and her kids are even younger than me, and so I think she was in her 50s, and so that happened. And so over the past 2 months, we've lost 4 people, and it's been, so Thanksgiving Day was pretty challenging for us. Chris had some friends come over, and they built that Lego lighthouse that's behind me. You can't really see because of the candles in the way. And so they did that while I was in the kitchen cooking, and it was just really wonderful that his friends were able to step in and, you know, not distract him, but just be there for him on that day. And then he and I had a quiet Thanksgiving dinner. It was the first time I had cooked Thanksgiving dinner all by myself. I did try to make potato rolls. They were an epic fail. So bad. I'm not giving up though. I'm doing it. I'm gonna try again. And my husband thinks it's so cute. Whenever I fail at making something, he's like, I don't know how you continue to keep doing it, but you like just go and make it again. And I'm like, well, yeah, because I want to eat it. You know, like potato rolls. The reason I was trying to make it is because I would like to eat them. I have a good friend back home in Alaska, and she has no family in Alaska, so when I lived there, she would spend every Thanksgiving dinner with my family, and quite a few of my single friends did that. And she always made potato rolls, and I had no idea how much effort went into making potato rolls. Now I understand, and Jerry, master. Pardon my husband blowing his nose. So I am going to do this again, and hopefully I will win this time. But that's beside the point. So that's, you know, besides from that, my car, I don't know if I mentioned this, my car was at the end of its lease, so we took that in, and we were able to get a whole bunch of money back and all kinds of stuff because we took dang good care of that car, and we rolled it over into a new lease for a 2018 Camry, which is a sweet car, let me just say. You know, I got a sunroof finally. I've never had a sunroof. Well, that's a lie. Whatever. Anyway, so that's a really nice car, and I wish I could take it on my really long drives out to the coast, but I still have to drive the company car. Wah, wah. Oh well. So that's been the last couple weeks. Yesterday, my husband and I went and cut down our tree, and it's behind me drying out. And so it was pouring down rain, pouring. But we were good sports, especially my husband. And we trekked out to the farm in Westland. Technically, it's in Westland. It's like right on the border between Wilsonville and Westland. And so we went out there, and the family there is so awesome. It was a new farm to us. And so we cut down our tree there, and it was really nice and close too. And we got a Turkish fir. We spent a little bit extra. I don't usually like to spend more than $25 on a tree when we cut it down ourselves. I know, right? $25. But we spent $45 on this one because we just fell in love with this tree, you know? So we could have gotten a Douglas fir. That's the one we usually get. I don't really like, oh crap, I forget what it's called. California, no, it's something with a C for, but the needles are really flat, and I feel like the branches are extremely thin, and they just don't have any structure to them. So I don't really like those. I can't remember what they're called all of a sudden. Dang it. I can't remember. Anyway, so we never ever look at those, and my husband agrees with me. But so Chris got down in the mud, and it was extremely muddy, and laid down in the mud so that he could get underneath the tree and hand saw it down. And I'm standing above him just holding onto the tree and whistling. I'm all good because I'm not getting muddy. But he was such a good sport. So if you want to see a little bit of our adventure yesterday, you can go to my Instagram feed on with AKA Millie907. And I even took a tiny little picture of my man being Superman and carrying this extremely heavy tree over his shoulder back through the farm. And we had quite a ways to trek on the farm because we were out far in the field. So, can you guys hear Watson? He's just sitting here on my lap. I don't know if you can hear him, but you know. Watson! That's another thing this week. So many things have happened. So, Watson got a professional trim because I've been trimming his hair, and you know, I'm not professional, and I can't do things very well like his face and his paws because he knows how nervous I get, which then makes him nervous, and then he doesn't cooperate even with the best of treats. Everywhere else on his body, he is a champ and amazing. But it had just gotten to the point where we just needed to get him cleaned up, you know, with a better service. So we did that. And when she did that, she discovered that on his paws, in his nails, that he had some scabs underneath the hood of the skin. And I had noticed that he'd been chewing a little bit on his paws, but I had assumed it was because his fur was so long and it was bothering him. Well, turns out we had to take him, I called the vet, and as soon as my husband got home that day, which was Friday, we took him into the vet. Turns out he's got a yeast infection, like athlete's foot on his paws. Also turns out he is, because of the weather and stuff, his allergies have gone haywire, so he needed to get a special allergy shot. And, oops, sorry, that was weird. Let's see if I can do it again. Nope, can't do it again with the lighting. And then he was due for his Bordetella and his rabies shot. So all of that together, it was just, it was a very expensive week to be a dog owner this week. So we spent all of our Christmas money on Watson this week because there was a few other things that needed to be done for him. So, you know, luckily I bought some stuff earlier for Chris, but anyway, off of Amazon. So, you know, that's been going on all this week, and sorry, I needed to get my leg up to cross my legs so that I can distribute Watson's weight better. So it's been quite an eventful couple of weeks, you know, moving, people passing away, our anniversary, Thanksgiving, Watson, the car. I haven't been feeling very well. I got really depressed for all last week. I was super depressed. Had a really hard time functioning, and you know, there was a couple friends, one knitting friend and one one counseling friend, who just texted me through it and got me motivated, and they helped me reground myself. And they weren't doing that on purpose. They were just being friends, you know, and reaching out to me. But because of that, I felt validated. I felt seen. I felt that I was okay, you know, and that I could be sorrowful about the things that have been happening in my life, in our life, and still get up and do the things that I needed to do. So because of them, I was able to actually still get all of my work hours in, take care of what needed to be taken care of, and, you know, just continue on with my life. It was good. It was really good, and I want to thank my friends who did that, so thank you. So, let's talk a little bit about knitting, shall we? The first thing, let's see if I can move my computer without Watson dying. The first thing that I want to talk about is hold on, I'm here. So, the objects that are completed, or my case notes. So the first one is actually the hat that I've been working on for a while now. The woolly smell. This is my Christmas lights sockhead hat. It's completely soaked still from yesterday's outing. And it is still too big for me. I knit the medium size. I went down the stitch count, and it's huge. I need to go down a needle size is what I need to do to give it more structure, I think, at least around the ribbing. But it's a beautiful hat. I loved knitting it. It was so much fun. It brought me so much joy. And I don't know if I'll keep it. I might send it on to a friend of mine who I think would look really dang good in it. She's got brown hair, and I think that the gold and everything in this would just be absolutely gorgeous on her. So I'm going to finish blocking this. I knit this on a US size 3 needle, and I did, I don't even know how many stitches around anymore. And then I knit till about 12 inches from the cast on. And I only did 2 inches of rib, and then I knit 12 inches total before I started the decreases, and then I just finished off with the crown, which is really pretty, don't you think? That kaleidoscopy kind of, yeah, I like that. So this is Socks That Rock in the Christmas Lights colorway. And I just have a very tiny ball left of that, and so I'll put that into my minis so that I can add it to whatever project. I had to kill a spider, sorry. With my bare hand! I just did that! Sorry, those of you who don't like people killing things. But spiders, I know they're good for the environment, but they're also scary. Anyway, so that was finished, and then I'm putting things on top of Watson at the moment. And then I also finished, sort of finished, my husband's Christmas socks. Now, you may remember that I was trying to do an ergonomic toe on Chris's socks, and it turned out very wonkadoo. So, and I've read up since then about that, and I even found a Japanese site that will let me create a grid of knit stitches to the dimensions that to my gauge of my row and my stitch gauge exactly. And so I'm going to do that, and then on Christmas morning, after Chris opens these, I'm going to trace his toes onto that and probably rip this toe out, and just re-knit it. So with that in mind, on the second one, I literally just put it on some on my needle holder over here, and I couldn't find a second needle holder because I'm using it on another project. So I grabbed one of my cable needles and just put needle stoppers on the end. But that is set to go, and yes, it's still attached to the ball of yarn, which is Melencholy Azure colorway. So that needs to be wrapped up. I think that is going to be one of his stocking stuff, or I don't know. We'll have to see. Might just be a regular sock, a present, I mean. So those are my 2 finished objects. One is officially finished, everything's woven in, and so on and so forth. I just need to cut the tails after it dries after yesterday's adventures. And then the other one is sort of finished. So finished as far as it can be for a while. So those are my case notes. Now in session, I've gone ahead and continued working on my new recipe socks. Oh my, I dropped a stitch. Holy camole. Oh, I dropped a stitch, guys. So I'm gonna have to fix that. Oh, you can't even see, so, you see that? So these are my Lang Diavol. Oh shoot, with the lighting and everything. And this is the colorway I know I've told you this before. It's super wash wool in colorway 415. And it knits up like this. And I really like that. It's very autumnal, which I enjoy. And then I couldn't, oh my gosh, guys. I've packed up all my yarn, and I had a specific yarn in mind that I wanted to do for the heels and toes. And it's a yarn that I actually hand dyed myself 2 years ago. And it's kind of a salmony color, but it's very nice. It's very lovely. It's one of my favorite colors that I ever dyed up. I don't know if it's everybody else's favorite color, but I love it. And so I had dyed it up in my Tundra Strong base, and I knew I had an entire cake of it somewhere. So I tore my boxes apart, never found it. And I spent like a couple hours at this. In the midst of all of that, I decided that I needed better yarn storage. So I stopped doing that, and I started researching yarn storage. And I determined that I was not going to use tubs or Ziploc bags to do that, but I have some cloth storage units coming that are supposed to be really good for wool items. When they arrive, I don't know if I'll do a separate video or if I'll just do a little review here on the podcast next time. But so you can see what I'm talking about. And then I've always had some cedar blocks, so I'll be putting those in. I've always had lavender sachets. They are getting a little old, so I need to get some fresh lavender, which is not hard here in Oregon. But I also decided that I read up on one blog, and I can't remember who it was, but they were saying that cloves actually do a really good job of scaring away pests. And I love the smell of cloves. So I'm going to get some bulk clove and do some sachets of clove and put it in my yarn as well. So I'm going to just try my hardest to be really, really proactive about my yarn and keep both the integrity of the yarn safe, so that the molecules don't start breaking down or are suffocated in Ziploc bags or Tupperware, and then also keep them safe from pesky bugs, which there's a lot of in Oregon. So far I've been successful. But after I did that research, I was just like, you know what, fine. I'm just going to look in my mini stash and pick whatever the heck I come across. Well, I came across this colorway that I hand dyed as well. It's called Wallflower. And yeah, it's ironic, I know. It's also in my Tundra Strong base. And I was just like, you know what the hey? Doesn't match it at all. Not even the tone. But, I love me some hot pink. So that's what's going to be the heels, and I'm not sure about the toes because I don't know if I have enough, but I might get a different color, like maybe my yellow. I have a yellow. Yeah, I can just go crazy with this. So I got to make sure that I don't ruin this. So I'm knitting these on size 1s actually, which is, I've been lately going down to a size 0, but these seem to be doing really well and they're fitting me pretty good, so that's great. Don't know if they're going to stay with me, but because I never know with my socks. I usually don't decide until the very end if I'm keeping them or if I'm sending them on, because I don't know that I don't usually knit with the intention of somebody specifically in mind. Now I did a little bit this last year, like with my sisters and stuff, but generally speaking, I just knit the socks because all of my sisters and I, except for one of my sisters-in-law, we all have the same size foot, so I can just knit my regular sock and then decide who to give it to when I'm done. Who do I feel fits that personality best. So the next thing, I forgot to talk about. Oh, here's my mini for my socks. I probably have enough. I should definitely have enough actually for both heels and toes. So, So I started actually, okay, I have to figure this out here. I started a project actually the last time I podcasted, and I totally forgot to talk to you about it. But I haven't even picked it up since. But, you know, I surely do love just the pearl monkey socks, period. I love them. And I love the no pearl. I love the original just regular monkey socks. And so I thought to myself, you know what? I've been wanting to knit my boss some fingerless mitts for a little while now because she gets so cold. She's always got her heater blasting, even in the summertime. So I thought, you know, why don't I make her some fingerless mitts? And, you know, she's not really a flashy person, so I wanted to do something, you know, nondescript. So I picked out this gray from Miss Babs. It is the slate colorway. And I started the two in the twisted 1x1 ribbing. And then I took the recipe of the pearl monkey socks, and I couldn't find the no pearl monkey recipe, so I just adapted it right there. It's so easy. You just change all of the pearls to knits. That's all you do. But what I did have to figure out in this is how to do the thumb and not mess up the patterning. So it didn't take me very long, maybe like 10 minutes. So I think I've got it figured out, and so I have that all written up and set to go. But I really, like 2 days before we moved, I cast it on, and that's how much I've knit, and I haven't touched it since. So maybe I'll take it to church today and knit on it during church. So people are used to seeing me knit in church. It's not a weird thing anymore. Watson, you know, if you're uncomfortable, you can get down. You don't have to be in my lap. There I go with the whole, it's because of Watson. He's so bright. Do you want to get down? Oh, he did. Look at that. Now I can sit up. Oh, because, you know, I kind of have a belly, so when Watson's in my lap, I kind of have to hunch forward so that he has room in my lap. So now I can sit up. There you go. That was more than you needed to know. So, but then the next thing that I worked on this week, the last 2 weeks, is my sweater. So I just couldn't handle it anymore. Now, okay, sometimes when I read patterns, I feel incredibly stupid. Like, I just don't know what it is, but I have a hard time understanding the visualization of what they're writing. And it's only in written patterns that I have this problem, because in novels and all that kind of stuff, man, my visualization is on point, at least to me. You know, but so I was really struggling when the second clue for the Chimera sweater came out. That's the Chimera. And then here it is, not in black and white. So you see that beautiful patterning right there? There it is on the back. Okay, so the first clue was knitting this square right here with all this, oof, that is not the color, that's the color, there you go. Knitting this square here. Now the second clue was to start knitting the rest of the back, and this is the center back, okay, pretend this is my back. So the next clue was to start knitting the shoulder, the placket, no, not the placket, just the shoulder, and the rest of the back. So I finally, after researching for about and this was on Thanksgiving Day, when I had a couple hours while I was letting the turkey cook and stuff, I sat down and I read through all the notes on everybody's, on her Chimera Cowl thread, and I finally figured it out. So I cast it on and knit up, and then I joined it to the the square, the original square that I'd already made, and then I knit over until, and then I finished. The clue 2 is pretty long, so I'll be knitting the whole back. So it's like I'm knitting a shrug right now, because I'm knitting the whole back and then I'm knitting the sleeve. Now, so now I'm ready to join in the round for the sleeve. So this is actually what it looks like now. I'm going to join it together. So that is on the sleeve. So that demarked where my decreases were. All right, does that make sense? And then I'm going to do the same exact thing, but on this side. So that's, can you hear my neighbors? So that's what's going on there. So I'm knitting these on US size 7, I believe. Yes, US size 7 on my Haya. I got it. My Hayas, which I love, my interchangeable Hayas. Oh, love them. They're like butter. And this is such an enjoyable pattern. Now, I messed up a couple times, so I had to rip back. So I actually have knit this probably twice now. So, but I'm on my second ball of Knit Picks Capra, and I'm just loving it. It's also really enjoyable to knit. Got a little fuzz. Some of the cashmere on my Capra didn't actually get dyed. It's really enjoyable to knit a worsted weight sweater. It goes so fast, even when you have to knit it twice. So now that the cowl is over, the lady who wrote this, who I keep forgetting her freaking name, Carol Feller. Oh, here's a color. So the lady who wrote this actually went through and combined all the clues and made it into one PDF, so that those of us who weren't able to keep up with the cowl can now have the whole pattern all together. And she does so many like tips. So she writes a whole bunch of tips down on each section for you. So because it's a very different construction, the sweater is knit, you know, side. Watson, out of the trash. Did you guys enjoy that? Anyway, the sweater is knit kind of in pieces and sideways and forward ways and back ways, and so you know it's a construction that I've never come across before, and it's really exciting, but it's also very challenging. So so she has a lot of tips in here, so it makes the pattern pretty big, but I am okay with that. So let's see what else I've got in my magic bag. Oh, I think we've come to the end of my works in progress, so my in session. So now, why don't we talk about in my toolbox? Okay, now I know you all are waiting to hear about what I got for my 24 Days of Cheer Swap. But first, I'm going to share what I got in this month's yarn box. And so luckily, it's not blue this time. But it is another dyer that I've never heard of. It's called Vocabulary Yarn. Yeah, and it's rather a raspberry bulky yarn. And it's tonal, but it's also a tonal that has some really dark spots and some really light spots. So it's almost, you can see the light spots there. And then you can see some dark spots over in here. So it's like a tonal variegated. So it's very interesting. It's a 100% merino, superwash merino. It's an Aran 3-ply, and in each skein, which is a 3.52 ounces, I get 181 yards. So I'm not even going to do that math. It's something like 362 yards total. So I've already picked out a pattern for this. However, I forgot to bring it over, so I'll do that in a minute. But I also got a little pin from Yarn Box. Oh, there you go. With their logo. So that was really nice of them. So why don't we push pause for just a second so I can go get the pattern. Okay, so the project I decided, I think, that I'm going to knit with this is the Forest Park Cowl. It's got a lot of cables and ribbing and a lot of really interesting things going on in it. And it's also, does she have the schematics in here? She doesn't. But it's also a cowl that is knit like this. So it's wider at the base down here, and it's narrow around the neck, so it's nice and comfy and like this, but it gives you a lot of bulk and warmth down here. And I really liked that idea. Now, I'm not a huge cable girl. Actually, I can't remember the last time I did cables and I actually enjoyed it. So this is going to be not a trial. No, it's not a trial, but I am going to see how I like doing it. Now, I've never knit cables on Aaron, and I figure also, you know what? It should go pretty dang fast, right? So, that's what I'm going to do with those. All right, now I want to show you a little bit of my advent calendar, but before I do that, I need to pause and go over and do the live cast on Instagram of me doing the yarn. I've been doing a live stream every day of me opening up what I got in my advent calendar. So I'm gonna go over and do that, and then I'll come back and I'll show you everything, okay? Okay, so I revealed day 3. Now, if you guys all want to follow me on Instagram under AKA Millie907, you can see each day I do a live cast, and then I guess I'll post all 3 of them today. I really haven't done any actual posts of the minis, but I need to because my girls need to know that I've got them. So, sorry, I've got a little bit of the gold on. But you guys have no idea what I'm talking about yet, so I'll just get to it. So my first advent calendar came from the beautiful crafty girl, Stephanie, who is so amazing. She's so lovely and kind, and like the love she has for her children. I don't know. I'm just really, really stunned by this woman. So she sent me the, ooh, look at it glitter and shine. The Merry and Bright box. She literally sent it in this box via post. Crazy, right? And it's so beautiful. I get to keep it. I think I'm gonna put my ornaments in here to get them through the fall. I mean, when we're not having them on the tree. So inside, we've got all these tubes that she handmade, and they're all numbered on top, and you get to see, like this one was day 3. So you look for your day and you pull it out, and she's actually decorated the tube too. And then you can pull out your yarn from inside and see what you get. Well, in order to see what you get though, you have to then go over to her Christmas tree of foil that she made for me. And you have to scratch off the foil to see what you got. Now, I thought that I would start at the trunk, and so I started with day 25, but luckily I didn't reveal anything important, so whew. Anyway, so we got day 1, and I'm going to show that to you now. So day 1 is Primrose yarn in the In Between the Lines colorway. It's so beautiful. And then day 2, I'm calling Goldenrod because I have no idea what the heck it is because I can't get the gold off. But I love it, love it, love it, love it. And then day 3, which I just revealed, is from Bumble Acres in the Royalty Sock in the Blood Wars colorway. So those are the 3 that I got so far from Crafty Girl or Stephanie, which I love. Then, so I'm going to continue with that. And so if you want to watch each day, I'm doing the live cast on Instagram, so you can watch me open up, oh, for heaven's sakes. You can watch me open up each day on Instagram. I don't know if anybody really cares outside of me, but I'm doing it anyway because it's fun. So let's see, let's get this bad boy over here. And then we got to come up with Miss Chris Loves Wools package that she sent me. And she sent each of them as these little like gumdrops that she put, and then she has hand drawn and colored each day, and on the inside it tells you what each one is. And so she has it all in here. Now this fell out in my car, so everything's all messed up. But she also sent provisions, sugar, because she's also a diabetic, so she knows. So she sent me sugar-free candy and some Jolly Ranchers, which she says are absolutely delicious. Oh, there's a Jolly Rancher. So, there you go. So far, from Miss Chris Loves Wool, I have gotten, on day 1, I gotten the Graceland wool in the glitz base, the glitz colorway. Let's see if I can't get this. So if I, hold on. I got this. Okay. There you go. You can see it now. Isn't that beautiful? Then on day 2 from, it was obviously a sock blank. From Daisy Knits, I got the Peachy Keen colorway. It's very beautiful. And then today, from Fiber Story, I got, in the fave sock, I got Olivia, which is so yummy and scrumptious. I wonder if it's not a cashmere makeup as well. It's beautiful. So those were the 3 I got from her. So all together, here's what I got so far. 6 out of the 24 days. And then on the 25th day, I have a beautiful big skein from each of them. So I hope they're also enjoying what I sent them. I spent a lot of time, all of us spent a lot of time, but it was just really fun to make these packages up and to make each of them, you know, personalized and unique. So thanks, girls. I'm enjoying it. So keep up the good work, everybody, on knitting. Now, so the last thing before I sign off, we have a giveaway to announce. If I can get my computer to open up, here we go. Now in the Ravelry group, AndersMillknits, we have the double dip cowl that we've been doing all year long, actually over a year. So this is all coming from my stash. So this is all things that, you know, I love, and I'm sending the love on to you. So there you are. I don't think we're going to do the month of December because I'm just a little worn out. Does that make sense? That sounds really bad, but I am. I'm just a little worn out. And I'd really love to do a different cowl this coming year. So if anybody has any suggestions for a year-long knit-along, craft-along, crochet-along, you know, that kind of thing, let me know. I know over on, oh my gosh, I can never remember things, but a lot of other podcasters, or at least one other podcaster I know of, is doing a stash down, and she's having really amazing prizes quarterly for that. And I was thinking, oh, I've been trying to knit from stash. Can I borrow that idea from her? I might have to. But anyway, so back to our current one. So for for October and November, I opened up a thread and we had 73 entries, and it was amazing. So today I locked that thread and I went over to random.org and I put in 2 through 73, and it came up with number 36. And this is a new to me lady. It's, so another yarn, who are you? Oops, hold on. Another yarn, 9, and her name is, I don't know, but she's from Colorado. And she knit the Artistic Autumnal socks. Oh wait, no. It was the Artistic Autumnal cowl from the 1st of September to 30th of November in the Geeker Girls podcast. And these are the socks that she knit, if you can see them. They're really beautiful. So thanks for joining in with that. They're opal socks. They really are autumnal. It's beautiful. So if you'll get a hold of me via Ravelry, just PM me your name and your address. Another yarn 9, I will get those out to you. All right? So, guys, that has us coming to a close on our podcast today. I hope you really enjoyed sitting down with me. Sorry, now I get all flustered every time I'm trying to bring it to a close. I'm just like, yeah, sure, how do I do this? I don't know. How do you close a podcast? I have no idea. Maybe that won't be our name, because then people might think that I'm closing the podcast, period, and that's not happening. So, anyway. Maybe I'll call it awkward pauses. No, that's not what I'm going to call it. Anyhow, I hope you guys have enjoyed sitting down with me today. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your busy lives to sit down with me, maybe knit a little, or just relax and just let all the cares of the world go away. So lovely. And remember, knit what you love and love what you knit. Take care, guys. See you soon.